Welcome to the Unified Interface segment of the Readiness Blitz. My name is Shilpa Sinha, and I'm the lead program manager for Unified Interface. Today, we will be diving into what is released on Unified Interface that customers can use. We will also be seeing the current capabilities in a short demo. I'll finish the segment talking about the current gaps and the roadmap for the Unified Interface. So before we dive into Unified Interface, let me quickly talk about PowerUps. PowerUps today has two kinds of apps: Canvas apps and model-driven apps. Canvas apps start with a blank canvas and allow app makers to build pixel-perfect applications that can mash up data from any of the 190-plus sources. Makers have the ability to build highly task-based applications using the relevant data targeted to specific roles and personas. Whereas model-driven apps help automate standardized business processes using a rich data model and relationships. They provide pattern-based, metadata-driven, dynamically generated user experiences that work across all surfaces. And those surfaces could be a tablet, mobile, or an embed experience. Canvas applications complement model-driven applications to provide role-tailored experiences. Take the example of an educational institution managing their student affairs from the time the candidate enrolls as a student and goes through a graduation lifecycle. This can be best managed as a set of entities and business processes in a model-driven application. Whereas a student interface can have a Canvas app to allow students to register for special events or help staff check students into orientation and so on. Since this is the Unified Interface session, let's drill a little bit more into model-driven apps experience. You must be aware of the CDS 2.0 release that happened a few months ago. For a CDS 2.0 instance, Unified Interface is the runtime for all new model-driven experiences. Unified Interface also powers Outlook Mail app and mobile experiences in the v9.0 release. However, one thing to note is that at the v9.0 release, mobile experiences are only on Unified Interface. As all experiences from the legacy web is not yet available on Unified Interface, our web client continues to coexist to support customer needs, and the goal is to make Unified Interface the primary and the only client infrastructure moving forward. I will touch upon the gaps and roadmap at the end of this segment. So, what is Unified Interface? Unified Interface is the new responsive user interface and experience that is built to be performant, metadata-driven, and accessible. This user runtime experience is consistent across all surfaces that includes browsers, mobile, and Outlook clients. Unified Interface experience is based on app modules that enables customers to create tailored role-based experiences to their users. Few capabilities that I would like to call out here that is now available on Unified Interface are things like interactive dashboards, which were just available on Interactive Service Hub, is now available across all experiences. We have added some new rich chart types, the full sitemap with quick access to favorites and MRU is available across all clients. We've introduced semantic zoom. We will look at that during our demo. Today, relevant search is also available on phone. We have made some updates on business process stage docking, and we will look at that as well during the demo. And then controls like reference panel and timeline is available across all entities. And as I said, we will be seeing this in our demo in some time. All controls on Unified Interface is based on PowerUps control framework, which used to be known as Custom Control Framework. This framework provides the app teams and developers with a rich set of APIs and tooling to build and deploy their own controls. Very recently, we launched the PowerUps control framework as a private preview to ISVs and partner communities to gather early feedback. Using this framework, app teams, partners, and ISV communities will be able to build metadata-driven, configurable, responsive, and portable controls for rich unified interface experiences. Let's look at the capabilities I talked about in action. Currently, I'm on the legacy web experience, and as a sales manager, I load up the Sales Hub, which is a unified interface app. At this point, you will notice that I had a Power BI dashboard, and that does get supported on the unified interface runtime. Let me quickly show you the navigation. That has changed when it comes to unified interface. So you will see that we have a nav bar which is on the left-hand side of the experience. And the nav bar also has all the MRU and favorites right there. So things that you've opened recently, you can see it right here. Now let me go ahead and open a contact, Alex Vu. You will notice that the form loads and the form for unified interface is a little different from what you were used to on the legacy web experience. The first thing to notice is that we do not have the vertical scroll anymore. We actually have a tabbed experience which can show you the summary, details, and the other tabs that you may have. Certain things to note here is that the layout does not really change, but we have created this new control called the timeline control, which is the front and center of this experience. The timeline control itself is pretty configurable, and you can choose to show and hide the information that you need. So let's look at a few capabilities about the timeline control. So let's say that I want to open the filter pane of the timeline control, and you can see that there is a visual filter on the timeline control. Outside of that, you will see that there is another control called the reference panel that I had mentioned about previously, and this is another tabbed experience wherein you can pop in things like a subgrid, or it could be related cases, etc. And this control now is available to be added to any forms during the customization process. Now let me quickly go back to the contact grid page. I can see all my records here, and let's say that I want to make some changes back to the Alex record. And let's say I add a fax here and save my changes. And at this point, I want to make changes in some other records as well. So the way to switch, you will see that this button shows up when I actually go and open a record from within the grid page. And once this button is expanded, you will be able to switch between different records as well. One another feature I would like to show, since unified interface is a consistent experience across multiple clients, let me quickly look at how this would reflow into a smaller form factor. So now you can see the Alex Vu contact form for a smaller viewport size. And at the smaller viewport size, you see this icon that comes up, which is the semantic zoom. What semantic zoom really does, helps user to navigate to different sections and tabs easily so that they don't have to scroll through content on the form to get to a location they are looking to go to. Now let's look at navigation on a smaller form factor. So in a smaller viewport size, the navigation is still complete and it gives you all the functionality that you have in a larger viewport. So let me quickly go to the opportunities grid page here. What you will notice is that in a smaller viewport, the grid reflows into a list. Now, if I go ahead and expand this view and we go to a bigger viewport size, you will see that it reflows into a grid page. So we talked about interactive dashboard that is now available for all entities. So let me go ahead and open the dashboard from the opportunity grid. You will see that the opportunity interactive dashboard loads up. I can go to visual filters and filter out opportunities that I want to work on. So let's say I have one specific opportunity which is on develop stage. I can go ahead, open that opportunity, and you will see that we have done some visual changes on the business process bar. Outside of just the visual changes, we also have docking capabilities for different stages. So let's say I'm looking at the develop stage. I can go ahead, dock that stage, and work on it if I have intensive stage functions to perform. I can also switch between stages while in the docked phase. So another capability that I talked about is that unified interface experiences are driven by app modules. So let's quickly go and look at a few app modules here. I've created the student recruitment app module. Let's quickly take a look at what does it really consist of. So you will notice that this is a simple app where we have defined the sitemap that consists of certain capabilities and records that I want to expose. So basically, this specific recruitment app has applications, candidates, tours, and few other details that we need for this specific user. You will also notice that we have one dashboard added to this specific app module, which is called the recruitment snapshots, and few forms for the different entities that we've added to this specific app module. I just wanted to show this quick app module designer so that once during runtime you can relate to what really we created. Now I will be switching the user to Veronica, who has a salesperson role, and that role is added to this app module. So you will see that the salesperson role has been given access to this app module. So Veronica goes to home.dynamics.com. Home.dynamics.com is the landing page for PowerUps Canvas apps or model-driven apps. Veronica has access to student recruitment, and she goes into this experience and is able to see the recruitment snapshot that was the dashboard that we had added to this specific app module. Once I go to the navigation, you will see that all the entities that I had defined in the sitemap is available to Veronica right now, and she can go about working on this specific experience and not have to be exposed to all the different sitemap capabilities that was available during our web client experiences. We have few capabilities that are not currently available on Unified Interface. We have a blog that lists them, and you can point customers to that. The blog link is available on the Go Do slide. Few controls like the composite control, hierarchy control, and Bing map controls is currently not available but are on the roadmap. We also have some commands missing on Unified Interface like advanced find, sharing, bulk edit, and merging of records. Few missing capabilities like filtering on grids can be accomplished by using interactive dashboards, and roll-up activities can be seen under the timeline control. Next, let's see what we have on our immediate and future roadmap. So, we are primarily focusing on fundamentals to ensure that we provide enterprise-class experience to our customers. Performance, reliability, and quality is our primary focus, and we are doing weekly releases with perf optimizations across unified interface experiences. We are also investing heavily in improving debuggability, supportability, and telemetry so we can improve our overall support experience and minimize the need for back and forth with the customers to get logs, etc. As an example, we've created a support alias for mobile so end users have a way to reach us. The emails come directly to the feature crew, which consists of PMs, devs, and support, so we can action it. By July, we will be introducing the hybrid experience where customers can move to unified interface and have most web client capabilities available to them. We will also be bridging the gap on unified interface by releasing a lot of prioritized capabilities based on customer feedback, which includes adding roll-up views, chart support on grids, barcode scanning for search, and more. So, do spin up environments if you already have not done that, and get yourself familiarized with unified interface experience. Learn and evangelize the capabilities and experience with your customers and help them move to version 9.0 and unified interface. Please remember that on version 9.0, mobile experience is purely on unified interface. Also bookmark the blog link that is provided here, and we will keep it updated so that you can have an open conversation with your customers. Feel free to get in touch with me in case you have any questions, and thank you for your time today.